In the year 336, Rome was a city caught between persecution and power. The Church had just emerged from the shadows of the catacombs into the light of imperial favor. Yet even in this fragile peace, the See of Peter faced uncertainty. For only 8 months, a humble Roman priest named Mark would carry the weight of the papacy. And though his reign was brief, his legacy endures. This is the story of Pope Saint Mark. Saint Mark was a Roman by birth, a priest well respected for his wisdom, humility, and devotion to the Church. Though little is recorded about his early life, his reputation for holiness and steadiness made him a trusted figure among the faithful clergy of Rome. On January 18, 336, after the death of Pope Saint Sylvester I, Mark was elected the Bishop of Rome. His papacy came at a turning point in history. Emperor Constantine had legalized Christianity, granting the Church freedom unknown to earlier generations. The wounds of persecution were still fresh, but the Church now faced a new challenge: how to govern and grow in this new age of legitimacy. Pope Saint Mark, though Pope for only a few months, left an enduring mark. He is credited with assigning the pallium, a sacred vestment, to the Bishop of Ostia, symbolizing his role in consecrating future popes. Mark also commissioned the construction of churches in Rome, strengthening the visible presence of Christianity in the Eternal City. Pope Saint Mark died on October 7, 336. He was buried in the catacomb of Balbina on the Via Ardeatina, his tomb preserved as a witness to the faith he defended. Though his papacy lasted less than a year, the Church remembers him as a faithful shepherd who guided the flock during a fragile but hopeful time in Christian history. Sometimes holiness is not measured in years of power, but in fidelity during brief moments of leadership. Pope Saint Mark reminds us that even in short service, God can work wonders through humility and devotion. His feast is celebrated on October 7th, a reminder that the smallest flame can still illuminate the path of the Church.
In the sands of Syria, where empires rose and fell, 2 Roman soldiers chose a loyalty greater than Rome itself. Their names were Sergius and Bacchus, soldiers, friends, Christians. Condemned by an emperor, humiliated before their comrades, and tortured for their faith, they would become martyrs whose legacy endures to this day. This is their story. The early 4th century was a time of both glory and cruelty for the Roman Empire. Under Emperor Maximian, loyalty to the gods of Rome was enforced as a sign of patriotism. To be a Christian was to risk everything: your status, your freedom, and your life. Sergius and Bacchus were not ordinary soldiers. They were officers in the Roman army, part of the emperor's inner circle. Their skill, loyalty, and bravery earned them high positions. Yet, in the shadows of military life, they secretly lived as Christians, worshiping not the gods of Rome, but the one true God. One fateful day, Sergius and Bacchus were ordered to participate in a public sacrifice to Jupiter. To refuse meant dishonor and death, but to obey meant betraying Christ. Their decision was swift. They refused. Their refusal was not only an act of faith, it was seen as treason against the emperor himself. Maximian, once their master and benefactor, turned against them with fury. To break their spirit, Maximian ordered their military insignia stripped away. They were paraded through the streets dressed in women's clothing, a cruel attempt to ridicule their honor as soldiers. But their dignity came not from Rome, nor from titles, nor from uniforms. Their dignity came from Christ. And so Sergius and Bacchus endured humiliation with unshakable faith. Bacchus was the first to suffer. Beaten with rawhide until his body was broken, he finally surrendered his spirit to God. But before his death, it is said that Christ appeared to him in vision, strengthening him for his final trial. Sergius, now left alone, was forced to march in iron boots lined with nails, each step a torment. Finally, when he refused yet again to deny Christ, he was beheaded. Thus, the two friends, bound by faith and brotherhood, entered eternal glory together. The deaths of Sergius and Bacchus did not silence their witness. Instead, their memory spread quickly through the Christian East. A great church was built in their honor in Rasafa, Syria, which became a major place of pilgrimage for centuries. They were invoked as protectors by soldiers and the persecuted. Their feast, celebrated on October 7th, continues to unite Christians in remembrance of their courage. In the Byzantine tradition, they were called the Holy Martyrs and Wonder Workers, testifying that their witness continued through miracles attributed to their intercession. The story of Sergius and Bacchus teaches us that faith is not confined to churches or monasteries. It can be lived even in the heart of an empire that opposes it. Their friendship also shows us that true Christian brotherhood strengthens us in suffering. As St. Paul once wrote, "Bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ." Sergius and Bacchus bore the burden of persecution together, reminding us that no Christian is ever alone in the fight for faith. From soldiers of Rome to soldiers of Christ, Sergius and Bacchus gave everything for the faith they loved. Their story echoes through history as a call to courage, loyalty, and friendship rooted in God. On their feast day, October 7th, we remember not only their martyrdom, but also their eternal victory. May their example inspire us to live with the same boldness and fidelity. If this story moved you, please like this video, subscribe to our channel for more lives of the saints, and share this with others who long to discover the treasures of Christian history.